Hello and welcome to Blaugrana Everything News Roundup, a quick summary of the main events that have happened in the world of FC Barcelona. In today's roundup, we've got updates on the Nico Williams and Dani Olmo transfer sagas. We're then going to look at some choice words from both Joan Laporta and Hansi Flick before ending on a bit of a downer with the news of Ansu Fatis' latest injury. But before we go any further, some housekeeping. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button as well, leave a comment while you're at it. So, what better to start than the latest news about Nico Williams, as there has been some progress. It is reported that Barcelona have agreed personal terms with Nico, and they assume that if Nico gives them the green light, they'll be able to go right ahead and pay his release clause. It's either Bilbao or Barcelona for Nico, as it's already known that his priority is to remain in Spain. Not only is this a contractual or sporting decision that has to be made, but also an emotional one for Nico Williams. Bilbao is his boyhood club, and he does the opportunity to play in Europe with his brother for the first time. Barca, of course, are waiting for his call and apparently will not close any other deal such as the Dani Olmo one until they know Nico Williams' final answer. So all things considered, we should arrive at the conclusion of this saga over the upcoming week, and the ball is very much in the hands of Nico Williams. Meanwhile, there has also been some developments on the Dani Olmo front, as it has been already reported that Barca and Olmo have agreed on personal terms. So naturally, the next step was to try and negotiate with Leipzig on a deal to sign Dani Olmo. In that regard, Barcelona made their first bid for Olmo. However, it was rejected as it didn't meet the requirements of RB Leipzig. It was an offer around 40 million euros fixed with 20 million in bonuses. Barca's offer broke down as follows: 40 million fixed, 10 million payments every January until 2028, so starting January 2025, as well as 20 million bonuses, which would consist of 10 million bonuses for winning 2 La Liga titles and another 10 million for winning 2 Champions League titles. My thoughts on this? Well, Leipzig have been reported as having rejected this proposal, going as far as call it ridiculous, and really you can sort of understand why. They'd have to agree to a transfer whilst getting no money paid to them upfront, with payments only starting next January. Then there's the issue of the bonuses, which for me it's funny to even suggest. 2 Champions Leagues, when is the last time Barcelona won that many in a short period of time? So it's possible they wouldn't even have to pay that much money. But also, why not just base the 20 million in variables on things like appearances? Since Olmo is an injury-prone player, structure the deal so that you pay 10 million after, say, 60 appearances, and then another 10 million after maybe 120, 100 appearances. Because if he is able to make that many appearances in a short time, then for sure Barcelona would have made enough money to cough up 10 millions here and there. It's almost as if the guys doing this negotiations for Barca have no clue what they're doing. Or should I say, the guy doing these negotiations. Anywho, let's talk about Joan Laporta and Hansi Flick, who did have quite a bit to say at the official unveiling of Hansi Flick as Barca manager. We'll start, of course, with Flick, since this was his moment. And as you can imagine, he had to field a lot of questions on transfers. He was repeatedly asked about Nico Williams, but respectively, Flick declined to speak on other teams' players. That option in Football Manager. He hit that, basically spammed it for the whole interview. He did, however, speak about some of Barcelona's players like Lamine Yamal, about whom he said, "I've seen what Lamine Yamal has done in the Euros and he is incredible, but he still has to continue developing. It is important that you have to have your feet on the ground." He also added, "It is very important to me for players to give everything in training. 70% is not enough." But as is typically the norm for Barca these days, vital players always seem to be unavailable due to injuries, and Flick gave his thoughts on some players in that predicament. He said about Araujo and De Jong, "Frankie De Jong is a fantastic player. He's proven it many times when he was good physically. He is recovering. He will hope he comes back with us as soon as possible. As for Araujo, when you have a player of his quality injured, it is not good for the coach. we have to accept that. Now he is recovering and we have to wait when he will be ready. He gives stability to the defense and we will see what we will do without him for now. Flick then had some more choice words for Gavi, and well, this is what he had to say about Gavi. You feel and know that when Gavi is on the field, he's on fire, he wants to return, but we must give him time and take care of him. He's doing well, he's a professional player after all, and everyone will help him come back, but let's hope that he plays 10 to 15 more years in this team. Finally, we can move on then to Joan Laporta, who did also have some things to say regarding Barcelona's capacity to sign players like Nico and Olmo. And he said, our economic situation is much better than it was. We're on our way back to normalcy. Today, Barcelona can handle the signings of the size you're talking about because we did the work. And we made a great effort to achieve this, thanks to the understanding and patience of socies who were able to work. And no, it's not Rihanna. And today we can say that we are in a position to face any operation that we believe is necessary in the market. We're speaking with Nike and are satisfied with the progress of how negotiations have been going, and I believe we will get news in the medium term. As for other matters, the sporting area is working on it. What we will not do is carry out operations that undermine the structure that we have. We will be very careful. Now, I won't go too much into details about Laporta's words because he does often promise a lot of things that do not always materialize. So I'll instead move on to our downer of the day, which is the injury setback Ansu Fatis has suffered, as on Wednesday Barca officially stated that in Tuesday's training session he got injured. He picked up a foot injury after a heavy tackle and he will undergo conservative treatment in Barcelona. His return to training will be determined by his recovery time. Now, I always get worried whenever I see that phrase at the end of a sentence, his return will be determined by his recovery, because most of the times when we see it, a player's injury tends to be much worse than initially is being reported. And, well, they have a long layoff. But since then, we have heard some reports that Ansu will be out for likely 3 to 6 weeks, which is devastating considering how it basically robbed him of his opportunity in preseason. But if I can add something that brought me some relief, I guess, firstly, it's the fact that this was a contact injury. So, he didn't just go down and, have an injury while he was running or something like that. I'm also encouraged by Flick's words regarding Ansu. As he said, in the first days, he was unbelievable and his fitness was on top and you could see it on the pitch. So all of that taken into consideration, I guess maybe can make that bitter pill a little bit easier to swallow. Anywho, that's basically that. There was quite a bit I left out, to be honest. Stuff like Flick winning his first match as Barca manager, a behind closed doors friendly, and all the stuff to do with Flick's thoughts on Casado, Torre and Bernal, but it does also feel a bit premature to get into all of that, so I'll save it for after preseason is done. But otherwise, thank you all for tuning in. Have a great day and Forza Barca.